Have won the West Coast Conference Tournament for the first time since 1997.
Coach Azzi, with her professionalism, but also with the deep care that she has, a personal care that she has for her student athletes, she cares for and she brings about the holistic success of her student athletes.
So I still get chills when I watch that. That championship was 6 years in the making. How many of you guys have ever been on a team that's kind of struggled a little bit? If you're on a team that's having a hard time, what do you do about it?
Try to work hard every day.
Try and work harder, right? Try to get better. How about you? You had your hand up too.
Encouragement helps.
Encouragement helps, yeah, encouraging each other. And that's something I'm going to talk about a little bit later because, you know, when I took over at University of San Francisco, everybody said, don't take the job, don't do it. And if any of you had, you know, kind of a look at the history of the program, it typically, you know, over time had not been a very strong program on the women's side. But I was drawn to a challenge. And I knew that by each player getting better and better and better, ultimately we would be able to win a championship. So I want to talk to you today about 3 things in my life that I hope will help you achieve your goals. The first is to always be yourself. I think when you are true to yourself and you are truly who you are meant to be and you find your passion, you can affect the world in a very, very positive way. Number 2, have a vision for your life. And number 3, embrace obstacles. How many of you guys, let's say you were, you know, rewind a little bit to maybe you're 5 or 6 years old and you knew what you wanted to be when you grow up. Does anyone remember? Or even now, like, do you know what you want to be when you grow up? Don't be shy. Yeah.
I think when I was around 5 or 6, I wanted to be a veterinarian.
A veterinarian. Okay, do you still want that?
I still want to go into science.
Okay,
but
great.
It's probably not the same kind of field.
That's okay. All right, veterinarian, what else? How about some of the girls? Come on, I'm going to be talking to you guys afterwards. Don't be shy, because I'm about to tell you what I wanted to be. Yes. A plastic surgeon, excellent. All right, I hope I wouldn't need you down the road, but maybe, you never know. Are you good in science? Great, yes. I remember that. That's great. And you still want that? Excellent. Anyone else want to share? Yes.
When I was 5, I wanted to be
A mailman. That's great. I get my mail every day. That's great. Do you still want that as your, okay, that's okay. That's all right though. I like that. All right. So I grew up in East Tennessee, small town in Tennessee, and I wanted to be a forest ranger. I shared that with my parents and they thought that was great. Like, wow, you know, this is great. At 5, you know, you want to be a forest ranger, and I was like dead set on this is what I'm going to do with my life. And I was very driven. Back in Tennessee, we had career day. And so all of our parents, friends, everyone were invited to come, just a little kindergarten class, come to career day and see what all the kids were dreaming about becoming. So I told everybody that I wanted to be a nurse. And so we got home later that day and my mom said, congratulations. And I said, what for? And she said, well, you're going to be a nurse and you had that great answer, all those wonderful things you want to do. And I said, Mom, you're kidding me, right? She goes, well, that's what you told everybody. And I said, Mom, you and I both know I want to be a forest ranger. She goes, well, then I don't understand. Why would you lie to your entire class? That doesn't make any sense. You're a good kid. You don't really lie. And I said, but Mom, you and I both know that girls can't be forest rangers. Girls are supposed to be, and I had a whole list over here of things girls are supposed to be, boys, et cetera. And you guys, in this day and age, things have changed so much, thank God. But the thing is, we still stereotype. And we still base what is inside of us and our dreams and our goals on something else. And so I, at that point, had limited myself based on my gender. But the sky is the limit. And one of the greatest lessons that I ever got was from my mom that day. And she said, Jennifer, I don't want to ever hear you say anything like that again. Don't you know that you can do and become anything? That's the greatest gift. You get these things that you don't even know where they come from. It's something that it's your passion. And when you're true to who you are, you will find your gift. And I think that gift makes the world a better place. The second is have a vision. Once you find that thing, if it's basketball, if it's soccer, if it's the violin, whatever it is, have a vision of where you can go with it. Because it's vitally important. I learned a lot about vision when I went to Stanford. And I told you, I grew up in a small town in Tennessee, and I was recruited by a lot of big schools in the country. And at that time, and you guys, I'm embarrassed to say this, I didn't even know where Stanford was. Okay, I'm talking small town in Tennessee, and part of the reason I didn't know anything about Stanford was because the team was terrible. Stanford was not known for basketball at all. Now, I'm 20 minutes away from the University of Tennessee, one of the greatest women's program ever. So as I'm getting recruited, my dad said, oh my gosh, I got a letter from Stanford, and he said, if you can go to a school with that type of academics, you're gonna be set for your life. That's where you need to be. Now, he never really pushed me, but he really highly encouraged me. The coach that's there, that ironically, tomorrow night, she might win her 1,000th game, which is, you know about that, right? It's absolutely unbelievable. But if you can imagine, rewind a bunch of years, she took over a program that was terrible. I think they won about 4 games before our class got there. She came on a recruiting visit to my house, and she just painted this picture that we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna recruit. And something in me said yes. So I went to Stanford, and I will never forget my very first game playing Division I college basketball. I was a starter as a freshman. I was so excited, warming up for the game, and I'm looking around. Who's been to Maples Pavilion? Anybody been down to Stanford, into the arena there? Okay, it holds about 8,000 people, and at the time there were bleachers. So I'm looking, the timer's ticking down. The bleachers are still pushed up against the wall. I'm looking around, there's nobody there. And I'm thinking, what's wrong? So I asked one of my teammates, I said, when do the fans get here? And she said, fans? We don't have any fans. I said, you don't have any fans at all, like nobody comes? And she goes, oh, maybe if somebody's family's in town, that's about it. Well, they forgot to tell me that on my recruiting visit, that nobody comes to games. Growing up in Tennessee, you guys, it was crazy for girls basketball. We had 10,000 people at our state tournament games. I mean, it was amazing. So then I go to Stanford, terrible team, no one cares, and it was awful. We had played about, we were about 10 games into the season. I was homesick. I was really a fish out of water. And I remember sitting in the empty arena after our game and thinking, do I go back to Tennessee? I miss my family. I want to win. This is hard. I don't know that I can do it. Well, my coach happened to still be there, who's about to get her 1,000th win tomorrow. And it was just the 2 of us in the gym. We're sitting at center court, and she put her arm around me. I'll never forget this. And we looked around Maples Pavilion together. And she said, I want you to see my vision. She said, I know this is hard for you. You're used to winning. I know basketball means everything to you. But I need you to see my vision. I want you to picture this place sold out. And I want you to see us winning the national championship by your senior year. Can you do that? Now, as you can imagine, I'm looking at her like, this woman is crazy. But then there was something inside of me that said, you know, I'm here for a reason. I love basketball. Yes, I can see this vision. She said, we're going to recruit better players. We're going to do everything we can as a staff, but I need you as a leader to see this vision. So I said yes, and I agreed to it. And let me tell you something, within 3 years, which is near impossibility, we were selling out 8,000 fans a game. And we won the national championship my senior year, about 20 minutes from where I grew up. Kind of a storybook ending, but it started with that vision. Part of the reason that I took over the University of San Francisco is because I wasn't afraid to try to do the same thing as a coach. Because what I learned from my coach was to not be afraid of having a vision. But what I learned as a player going through that process was that the responsibility was on me. The responsibility was on me to get better. Our group, every single year, we were in the gym. We were shooting the threes. We were doing the work. Hey, I'm going to make my team good. I'm going to be good. I'm going to be Steph Curry staying in the gym. I'm going to be Klay Thompson. I'm going to do this because I have control over my destiny. I put my vision out there and I have control. Okay, so the first thing, be yourself, find your passion, have a vision of where you can go, and do not be afraid of it. And the third thing, embrace obstacles. Okay, how many of you have ever been cut from a team of any kind? That's okay, that's all right. All right, what'd you do about it when you got cut? Excellent, what about you? Tried harder? Anyone else been cut? Yeah, what'd you do? You cried. I cried too, but that's okay. That's normal. That's normal, but it has to propel you into action, because a lot of times if you get cut from something, it doesn't mean that you don't have potential or that you're not eventually good enough. It just means you need to decide if that's what you really want, and you need to work a little bit harder. okay? I had the opportunity to try out for the Olympic team in 1992, and I had been the starting point guard on the world champion. We'd won a world championship in 1990. I was starting point guard, and everyone told us that if we were on the 1990 team, winning the gold medal in the world championships, it was really a formality. We were pretty much guaranteed to be the next Olympic team. When I got the call the next morning to go down and speak with the coach, I'm walking down to her office, you know, pretty confidently, like, this is great. And I opened the door to her office, and as soon as I saw her face, I knew it. I was the last player sent home, the very last player sent home. Talk about devastated. I never wanted to play basketball again. I mean, talk about crying. I bawled. I cried for days. And thankfully, I had parents that, you know, I went back to Tennessee. I didn't know what to do. And I was just flat out devastated. But thankfully, I had a contract to play. And this was after college. So I had a contract to play in France that year. I had no money, no job, didn't know what to do. So I thought, well, I should just go and at least make some money. Sure enough, 1 year turned into 2 years, turned into 3 years, and I set my sights on the 96 trials. And I'm telling you, the hardest thing I ever did was to get back on a plane, go to Colorado Springs, put myself in the same situation again, knowing that I could be cut at any time. But this time, I made the team. And I had the chance to be part of one of the greatest women's teams that was ever put together. And you know, a lot of, not just that it was about our group, but we had the support of the NBA. They paid us salaries to stay home and train together for 18 months to get ready for the games in Atlanta. And it was an incredible experience because not only was it going to the Olympics, we changed the course of women's professional sports because we were able to show the American public that you could play beyond the age of 21. Like for guys, you go on, you've got the NBA, you've got all these opportunities, but at that time, there really weren't any opportunities for girls and women. So we were able to show really the next level of sports. I mean, our games in Atlanta, you know, with 35,000 people per game, millions watching on television, and it was a great brand of basketball. So we were fortunate enough to have won an Olympic gold medal, which was spectacular. But when I think about my experience in '92, versus my experience in '96. Because I didn't make that team, I was still hungry and I had the opportunity to win a gold medal. So now in my life, when things don't go my way, you know, it's true that when a door shuts, a window opens. If things don't go my way, I say, that was my bronze, and my gold is somewhere else. And I think it takes a unique person that's willing to go through all the ups and downs to get here, okay? So number one, be yourself. Find that thing you're passionate about. Number two, have a vision for where you want to go. And number three, embrace the obstacles that come your way, because those things that hit you in the face, that you think you can't get back up, that are meant to just knock you down, the power is getting back up and trying again. It really is. It's not even in the ultimate goal. It's that you get yourself back up and you keep trying. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Who wrote that? I did. Very good.
Wow, look at you. Look at you.